Hi everyone, and welcome back to CreativeChelsey. If you are enjoying my paper pumpkin alternative videos and enjoy my channel, please subscribe below. Today I'd like to share with you some more alternative paper pumpkin projects using the supplies from the March 2020 No Matter the Weather Paper Pumpkin Kit. So we're going to be using some of the supplies to make this card here. And we're going to be creating 2 new cards with those supplies. So before we can start making these cards, we need to do a couple things. And one of them is we need to cut the card base down. So we're going to begin by just cutting it down the center. So that's at 3.5 inches. We're going to be using this full sheet for this card. So you just put that to the side. And then we're using the back of this card base for this second card. And so we're going to cut it again. So this is 5 inches. So we're cutting it in half at 2.5 inches. And then we're just going to use one side for that. And then we can use the other side to stamp on. So we're stamping some cute flowers. So we're using this side of the cardstock for those extra flowers. We're also going to be using one of this Petal Pink envelopes. So we're going to trim off the sides so that we can use that pretty pattern paper inside. And you're just trimming it to like 1/16 of an inch, so really tiny. And then if you have any of that white space left, go ahead and trim that again. It looks like I just have a tiny bit here, so I'm just going to trim off a tiny bit. That will give me a piece that's about 4 5/8. And then we're trimming it here, and that should give me a piece that's about 3.5 inches. And we're just trimmed along that crease line. So this will be our background piece for this card, so put that to the side. And then we're going to also use this piece, and we're trimming it down to 1 1/4. So just measure it like so. And then you can trim off any extra white that's showing. So that gives me a piece that's 1.5 inches by 4 3/8. Yeah, 4 3/8. So just slightly smaller. And we're going to use this piece for this card. So place that off to the side. Okay, now that we've prepped all our pieces, we're going to go ahead and start with this first card. So here are the pieces I need, and you can find all the dimensions and the supplies needed to make these cards in the description below. So you'll need a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock for your card base, the card front, the piece from the envelope, and you'll need a small piece of Saffron for the greeting. From the kit, you'll need 15 inches of twine, and then this cute boots and flower die cut. So we're only going to be stamping the greeting and the clouds for this card. So let's go ahead and do that. So I've got my paper piercing mat and a piece of scrap paper. And we're going to be stamping the clouds in balmy blue. And I'm just using the large cloud image from the set that came in the paper pumpkin kit. And you're just going to randomly stamp some clouds. So I have one that's at full strength, maybe another full strength down in here. And then I think I want one just a little bit lighter. So I'm going to take my stamp and stamp off my paper, and then I can stamp back on my paper, and that gives me a lighter image like that. And then let's go ahead and stamp our greeting. In your paper pumpkin kit, you've received the basic gray stamping spot. So we're going to use that to do the greeting, "You're capable of amazing things." Okay, so go ahead and stamp on your strip in the center. And now we can assemble our card. So start with your card base. You're going to add your card front. And you're placing that to the left with the same amount of space on the top and bottom. Next, add the Petal Pink. And that's being centered with about the same amount of space on the left and right. Let's go ahead and add the boots with some dimensionals. And I've got some large dimensionals here that I'm just going to place. And you're just centering these as well. They should probably touch this gray area since that's kind of the ground. And you're wanting this left boot to cover the pink, but you don't want to see the pink edge between the boots. Next, we're going to wrap the twine around our hand, but before we do that, we should add some snail to the back of the greeting. And so then wrap that twine, so that's 15 inches of twine. You can wrap it around until they meet, and then place that on the back. Oops. Place that on the back of your greeting. Add some dimensionals. I like to place them over the twine so that doesn't come apart after I've mailed the card. And then that just goes kind of at the base of the boots. You don't want to go over your edge here, so place that along the edge so it's not touching, it's just a little bit in, and then place that over the boots. And then we did add some of the raindrops. We have about 6 raindrops. You can use more or less what you'd like. And then I did also add some sequins from the iridescent sequin assortment pack. So the raindrops came in the kit, and they came with quite a lot. So you can use as many as you'd like, depending on how many cards you're going to use them on. And just kind of place them randomly, like they're falling from the sky. Oops. We'll use one more up here. Yeah. There we go. So I've got some raindrops falling, and then I'm going to add some sequins. I've got some glue dots. I'm going to use those. I'm just going to place 2 at the bottom of the greeting, and then 1 up here by the flowers. Go ahead and choose which sequins you want to use. You can use all the same color or all different colors. Okay, so your first card is done. Don't miss out on the fun. Make sure you're subscribed to Paper Pumpkin. Click on the link below by the 10th of the month to get next month's kit. It will be a fun family appreciation themed card kit that will make it easy for you to share your heart with those you love most. All right, let's go ahead and move on to this second card. So this card has more stamping. You're going to want to get both those pieces from the back side of your card base. You're going to need your paper piercing mat and a scrap piece of paper. And let's go ahead and start with these two clouds. So again, those are in balmy blue. And we're going to do the same technique where we have one at full strength. And then we're going to do a second one. We're going to stamp off and then stamp on. Next, we're going to use the Shaded Spruce ink pad. And we're going to stamp some grass along the bottom. So this image is also in the stamp set from the kit. And you can stamp a couple grass bunches along the bottom. And then we're going to do some to fill in those spaces. We're going to just stamp off and then stamp on again to give us a lighter color. So this is super cute all by itself. And if you wanted to stop here, you could. But I wanted to add some flowers. So in the stamp set, there's this tiny little flower, and we're going to stamp those on this other piece, and then we're going to fussy cut those out. So we're using Calypso Coral, So Saffron, and Petal Pink. So Petal Pink and So Saffron, we're using full strength ink for those. So let's go ahead and do that first. We're going to do 3 of each. That gives us some options when we're putting the flowers down. So just go ahead and stamp 3 of each of those. Then get your Simply Chamois to clean. Change your color. Let's do Petal Pink. Do 3 of those. Okay. So with the Calypso Coral, it's such a strong color, and I wanted it to be just slightly lighter. So we're going to do the stamp off, stamp on technique. So you're just going to ink it up and then stamp off and then stamp on. Okay, and do that 3 times. Great. So that just gives us a lighter version of that color. And now we're going to fussy cut these flowers out. I'm probably going to pause the video, fussy cut these, and then we'll come back. Okay, so I've gone ahead and cut out those flowers and put those off to the side. And the last thing we need to stamp is our greeting, Let Love Grow. So we're doing that on a strip of So Saffron. And we've got our greeting stamp and then the basic gray ink spot. Center that on the strip. And then we can go ahead and put our card together. So I've got a base of Petal Pink cardstock, and the dimensions, like I said, can be found in the description below, along with the supplies I've used. So we're going to add that piece from the envelope in the center. And then place the little outdoor scene in the center as well. Then we've got, let's do our flowers next. So we have 9 flowers, 3 of each color, and you're just going to kind of arrange them near the top of the grasses. You want to keep the colors somewhat separate so that you have a nice variation on how those colors all kind of come together. But sometimes it's not quite possible to keep them all separated from each other. And it looks like we maybe won't be able to get them all in there. So you do want to choose 3 flowers that will be popped up with some dimensionals, 2 or 3 flowers. So maybe, and you want them to kind of be the ones away from where the bunny will be. So the bunny is going to be down here in the right corner. So a majority of these flowers should probably be directly onto the card. But then some over here on the left side can be popped up with dimensionals. I also like them to be one of each color. So I'm going to do this Calypso Coral here. So I'm going to get my glue dots. I'm going to turn these 2 flowers over and add a glue dot to the back of those. I'm going to place this yellow one. I'm going to have it come off the edge slightly. Just place that on the bottom. And then this Petal Pink one, I'm going to have that come up slightly, like that. And then we can have this Calypso Coral be down here with a dimensional. Then let's go ahead and let's do a Petal Pink, maybe right there at the bottom. And maybe a yellow. Maybe a yellow right there. And then the Petal Pink could be, maybe we'll pop up that So Saffron, and we'll put a Petal Pink down here at the bottom with a glue dot. Those little pieces of paper. Okay, so somewhere around here. So we've got our Calypso Coral, we've got a yellow popped up over here, and then maybe another Calypso Coral there with a glue dot. Okay. And then looks like we could probably use a Petal Pink that's popped up. Maybe we'll do that one up kind of high. And then we'll add these 2 guys down here with some glue dots. Oops. Right about there. Okay, so let's take those ones off and add a mini dimensional. We can actually add the dimensional kind of where we want the flower to be if we'd like to try that. It gives us a little more, where was that one going to be? Was it up tile? Let's put it up a little bit higher. Okay. Go ahead and remove those paper backing, and then you can just center that flower over that dimensional. Like that. Okay. We're going to add our bunny next, and we've got some dimensionals for him as well. You can use the mini or the large, whatever size you want to use. And then he's just over here in the right corner, like that. Let's add our greeting. So the greeting goes right below that first cloud, and we want it to come over on the left a little bit. And then take 8 inches of twine. You're going to tie a bow. So I like to find the middle and then make a loop so that I'm pinching it in the center, and then you can wrap it around and tie a bow that way. Sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it does. Go ahead and trim your tails. And then you're just adding that bow with a glue dot just right where these two pieces of cardstock meet. And then we're adding some sequins as well. So I've got 3 sequins, and those are placed just kind of randomly. And then I've used the circle enamel dots for the center of each flower. And so if that's something you want to add, you're welcome to. If not, it's not necessary. It just adds a nice little element to those flowers. So these enamel dots came in the kit, and they're super cute. Just kind of tuck one right underneath that ear. And then let's go ahead and add some glue dots for our sequins, just as a little extra shiny element for our card. And again, we're using the iridescent sequins assortment. I love how the colors work really well with these springy cards from the kit. And so you can just kind of pick and choose which ones you want to use and where you want to place them. Okay. So that card's all done. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, like, and share. Visit CreativeChelsey.com for more information about Paper Pumpkin and to start getting your monthly kit. Have a creative day. Bye.